Happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday, September 13th, the 256th day of the year. There are 109 days left in 2022. And welcome to another edition of Tuesdays with Thom. You know, when we started this journey on Tuesdays with Thom, we reached out to those we knew to appear as guests. Our very first guest was my good friend, Daryl Big D Braden, one of the original pioneers of UAB basketball. Last week's guest was Rick Davis, a former University of Alabama football player and attorney who represents football coaches, among others, in the sport. We tracked our original viewers and found out the majority of our viewers were from the United States and past relationships we'd been involved in. We found out we also had some viewers from Canada, and we even landed a few from the African continent. Our reach beyond the States continues today as we visit with our G-list guest who lives in Pakistan. Today we go around the globe to visit with our G-list guest, Hina Nauman. And Hina is a children's book author and has published Born to be Naughty, Hanna, the Guardian of Nature book. It's available on Amazon, and we'll talk a little bit about it later on in the show. As mentioned, Hina is from Pakistan. I look forward to visiting with her. This edition of Tuesdays with Thom, of course, is sponsored by our partners, the Best Girl Consulting Firm. Best Girl has been providing customized solutions to executive issues for 34 years. Let's hear from Best Girl.
Best Girl is a consulting firm that provides customized leadership, access and inclusion, public relations, communications, and organizational consulting services. Clients include Fortune 500 companies, utilities, higher education institutions, small businesses, and associations. Best Girl's team of consultants, led by Joyce Gilly-Gossam, Emily Hedrick, and Sean Jones, partners with business and education clients to promote organizational effectiveness, communication, motivation, and leadership, with always an impact on the bottom line. Best Girl's customized consulting services include strategic planning, corporate communication, executive coaching, fundraising, and economic development.
That fits your needs. So let's get immediately to our roundtable regulars, introduce Barbara Wallace Edwards and Michael Walker and see what they got going. Let's start with Barbara Wallace Edwards. Barbara, how are you this morning?
Good morning, Thom. I'm doing well. Thank you. And how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. Good. What's going on in your world?
Well, Thom, I want to start by offering condolences to the families of several iconic people who passed away over the last week. First of all, Queen Elizabeth, and Ramsey Lewis. I don't know if you saw it or not, but Ramsey Lewis passed away on yesterday.
Did he? Yes. I didn't know that.
Yes.
I saw Ramsey Lewis a couple of times.
Yes, he was a phenomenal musician. Bernard Shaw, who's a first CNN correspondent, news anchor, passed away as well. And one of my favorite comedians of all times, David Arnold, passed away, 54-year-old, died peacefully at home, they said, of natural causes, and no rhyme or reason as to why. Really, really sad situation there. He posts videos on social media all the time about his family life, his wife and his two girls, his mother and stepfather, and his father and stepmother. So I felt like they were a part of my family because I watched so many of his videos almost daily. He was posting something. So
what was his name again?
David A. Arnold.
Okay, I don't think I've heard of him. Okay.
Yeah.
And Ramsey Lewis. And who was the other one?
Bernard Shaw.
Bernard Shaw was one of the first on CNN, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Wasn't he the one that was hunkered down during the Gulf War and
yes, I think so.
Bombs were falling everywhere, and he was reporting from one of the buildings. When CNN actually did real news and not opinion.
Yes, when they did right. Yeah. When they were doing real news.
When they wanted to tell you what everybody else thought.
Right.
Okay, well, a good deal. All right. Let's get Michael Walker on here. know he was having a little bit of trouble. Michael, are
Yes.
you out there?
I'm
There
here.
he is. There he
Yeah,
is. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Tom. Doing well. Good to see you today. You look like you've trimmed down. You back to playing weight now. Dropped a few
Well,
pounds.
I don't. I might be playing weight, but I ain't playing physically. Let me put
I hear you. I
it.
hear you.
This guy asked me. He said, "Tom, did you ever get any concussions when you were playing?" I said, "You don't understand. I, I was a receiver. My job wasn't to get hit."
Right.
It was to avoid contact at
There
all
you
costs.
go. There you
Absolutely.
go. Michael, I just tell you, because of you, we went and got a booster shot yesterday.
Well,
You told
good.
me you were going to get a booster shot, I think, over the weekend. And
Right.
so I went and got one yesterday. Joyce and I did. So we should be okay, hopefully. And you know what, really, because I know I've got to go up to a game this weekend. And,
Right.
what
Mhm.
is it, 80,000 people or whatever. And
Yes.
you figure more than half of them don't feel like they need to do stuff like that.
You're
So
right.
um,
Yeah. Yeah.
I just figured I'd go on and get one, and hopefully that'll carry us through.
That would be best because, again, like you said, most of them are not vaccinated, and hardly any of them, if any of them, will be wearing masks. So that's
That's
pretty
true.
Yeah, I agree
smart.
with that. Now I
Yeah,
agree with
yeah,
that.
exactly, exactly. Well, I'm glad to know that you and your lovely wife kind of followed my lead there and went and got your
Yeah,
booster.
yeah. I'm
It's
a little bit sore, but that's it. That's all
yeah,
I ever got. She said you'll get the same reaction you got for the first one. I was a little sore for a day, and that was pretty much it.
That's
So
it. That's
yeah,
good.
hopefully that's all it'll be this time.
great,
That's good.
great.
So go ahead, Michael. What you got for us?
Well, we're coming upon Medicare season as we always do this time of year, and I'm knee deep in it because I have to recertify every year. And one of the things that I have to focus on is abuse, fraud, and waste with Medicare as an agent. And you hear talk all the time about how the Medicare Trust Fund is in trouble. Well, let me tell you one of the reasons why we have that conversation. Federal inspectors flagged as high risk 1,714 healthcare providers who bill Medicare for telehealth services worth $127.7 million during the COVID pandemic. Normally everybody say healthcare costs are high because of agents' commissions. Well, that's not necessarily true. In many cases, it's not. A lot of the billing goes on with the providers.
Mhm.
And the Department of Human Services Office of Inspector General developed 7 measures that could indicate fraud, waste, or abuse of telehealth services, according to a new study. And to give you an example of that, um, they have found that people were just double billing. In other words, 672 providers bill for a facility fee and a telehealth service for more than 75% of telehealth visits. So you can't do both. If it's
Right.
telehealth, there's not a facility visit.
Right.
So they found several things through that. And about 2 weeks after this came out, the Department of Justice and Human Health Sciences and the Centers for Medicare Services tallied more than 1.2 billion by 36 defendants across the country of allegations of Medicare fraud. So uh, they're going to continue to investigate, and they're not jumping to any conclusions. They are not revealing who those people are yet. They just want to dig down, but there are certain things that are red flagged that indicates that some abuse, some fraud, and waste. And all of those are separately. Fraud
Mhm.
is intentional. Abuse is doing things that's unnecessary,
Right.
and waste is unintentional without any, real intentions of trying to defraud. So they got to go through each one of those categories to determine exactly which it is. But signs point to that.
Let me ask you both a question, and where we are now in terms of health and so on and so forth. How do you guys feel about telehealth? Since you guys know I had some surgery about 3 weeks ago, and all of my follow-ups have been telehealth. How do you guys feel about telehealth?
Well, I think it's certainly a valuable tool that can be used, especially, not saying you're elderly, Thom, but when you talk about people that are elderly and may not have the ability to get back and forth for doctor visits, you can go in and do telehealth and accomplish the same goals of seeing the patient, seeing what's going on, putting some eyes on it, asking them questions without them physically coming in. So it saves time, and it's supposed to save money if you don't double bill. So I think it's a valuable tool and resource. And there was an article that came across my desk just the other day that using telehealth, or what they call teledentistry, is working out very well for patients.
Teledentistry. How do you do teledentistry?
Yeah, I would love to know how that works.
Well, that's how they do a follow-up checkup on people as far as their oral health. And they're using a camera and what have you, and they're going in to look at and examine the teeth and what have you, and talking to them, and then determining what needs to be done. And then when they come in, they can come in for the procedure rather than coming in for a consultation and then go and come back again and all of that type of stuff. So I think telehealth is a valuable tool that can think
it can be. The procedure. I wish they could do the procedure by telephone.
I think it can be a valuable tool, but I do think there is, like you mentioned, some abuse there. For example, I have a doctor that normally, when I go to a doctor and I have to get a prescription for something, if it's a prescription that I'm going to need ongoing for the next year or two, or they will write you a year's worth of prescriptions, and then you have to come back annually. Well, this particular one doctor, I thought was writing a prescription for a year's worth of medication. He wrote it for 90 days. And once I realized that, I called the office back, well, maybe a week after I just left this office, and called and, say, I think you made a mistake on my last prescription. It should have been for a year. You only wrote it for 90 days. And he was like, well, just call back whenever you're close to the end of the 90 days, and I'll call it a new prescription. I did that. They then billed me for a telehealth visit because I had to call back in. But if he had just written a prescription, that wouldn't have. So every 90 days, I call back again, and normally they would have just said, okay, well, I'll get the doctor to call it in for you. Now they have to call the doctor or I don't say they have to, but they call the doctor to the phone. He speaks to me usually no longer than a minute, maybe not even that long, but then he bills for telehealth visit.
And that is an example of what I was talking about.
Absolutely.
That is fraud.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate, but people gonna find a way.
Yes.
Find a way.
See, I would question that, but someone really elderly, 80, 90 years old, may not ever even think about questioning that. They're gonna, just pay the copay. They're gonna let Medicare be billed for that, and it just keeps going. So yeah, I think this doctor will discontinue doing it after the many phone calls that I've had to make. But yeah, they will try that. Some of them will.
Well, Barbara, seems like you need a job as an inspector, because you just busted a case there.
Michael spoke earlier about elderly people, and then Barbara, you just spoke elderly people, but you said 80 and 90 years old.
Absolutely.
So Michael excluded me from the first group, and I'm going to exclude myself from the second group.
You are. When we were younger, Thom, 50 and 60 was old.
Yeah,
now that we're in that age range, that's not old anymore.
Yeah, it was.
Well, I must say one thing to that. I think for us, 50 and 60, that age group, even though from a chronological standpoint or numerical, it sounds like it's advanced age, but look at you guys, okay? That means you've taken good care of yourself. You're more active. I think we're a lot more active today than our grandparents were. They felt like once they got 50 and 60, it was time to just sit in a chair and, rock and stuff and do things that, quote, grandparents do. Right. But now especially the boomers generation, people are out skiing, walking, doing all kinds of stuff to stay active. And I think it's a tribute to the active lifestyles we live. So that's why I excluded Thom, because he gets up at 5 o'clock every morning riding his bicycle, sometimes without a helmet. But I think we got that situation fixed now.
I hadn't been on that bike in a while, but I've got a telehealth meeting tomorrow, a follow-up with one of my surgeons, and I had one last week, and I asked her if it would be okay to be on the bike, and she said, yeah. She said she thought it would be fine. So I'm giving myself another week or so. Yes, what's the day? Yesterday was 3 weeks, and so I'll go another week or two. And
well, Thom, how you feel about telehealth? You're experiencing that as follow-up procedures and visits with your
I think
doctor.
because these are surgeons, and I don't know what big difference that makes. I mean, I pretty much know exactly what they did. They pretty much explained to me what the follow-up would be. And so, and, you know, I don't know how this sounds, but I like them. And I think if you like a physician, you got a better chance. You're not skeptical of things that you're being told.
Right.
And I think it's working well. They are both women, and they both seem to be very, very competent in terms of what they're doing and how they treat me as a patient. So I'm okay with it. I'm okay. Sometimes, matter of fact, I think my insurance has a telehealth visit as a part of it, and I'd almost rather do that. Well, no, they have home visit.
Okay.
And I'd almost rather do that than go to an office and sit there and wait. My regular doctor, I had to quit going there because I just sat there for a couple, 3 hours waiting.
Yeah, that's a pet peeve I have. I hate waiting in the doctor's office.
I can't do that.
And see, I think this where telehealth is going to save us time and patience with that, you know?
Yeah.
So when they call you, they got to get to the real deal of why they're talking to you, rather than having you sit there in the office for hours like you don't have anything else to do. You don't have a life other than what they want you to do.
You know, it's always funny, and I don't know how we were on doctors this morning, but when they call you the day before or 2 days before to remind you of your appointment, it's like, well, you don't really give a, you know what about me. This is so that the doctor doesn't waste his time.
Exactly.
You know, being on the phone.
Right.
So, you know, hey, I just feel like my time's just as valuable. So
absolutely.
So true.
Yeah.
And what else we got here? Let me. I know that you guys are aware that we're doing a play over at the Gooch Center at Auburn called Alabama Boys. Myself and Michael O'Neill, and it should towards the end of October. What is it? 27th, 28th, 26th, 27th,
26th, and 27th.
Okay, and it should be a lot of fun.
Yes, and I would encourage people to go ahead and purchase their tickets. I went out yesterday and actually helped some people purchase some tickets, and tickets are going fast, so people should really go out there and check it out.
Well, that's good. That's good to know. That's good to know. We're looking forward to it. It started with President Gooch, who once the Performing Arts Center was built and they started bringing in guests, Gooch said, well, we need to have some Auburn people doing something here. And so that's kind of how the idea was born. But I think it's going to be good. You know, we were both born and raised in Alabama, and both ended up working in Los Angeles. And so it's sort of how we got there from here type story. So we're really looking forward to it. And it's good to know that the people are looking forward to it. That kind of puts the pressure on you, but that's okay. We've done that before. So What
It'll
else
be
you guys
fun.
got?
Well, Saturday was upset Saturday, or
Oh
almost upset
yes,
Saturday in college football.
was for
I
a
guess
lot of teams.
the well, I was going to say the biggest upset, but I'll just say one of the bigger upsets. Texas Aggies lost
Hmm.
to Appalachian State, the
Texas
Giant
A&M.
Killers. Yeah,
Yes,
Texas A&M lost
yes,
to Appalachian State, who are the Giant Killers. They went into Kyle Field and defeated Jimbo sixth-ranked Aggies
yes.
17-14.
Well, who's Jimbo gonna fuss at now? And Texas, I think, almost beat Alabama, whatever.
Yes.
But
Hmm.
that's the way I think games ought to be played. If you're
Yes.
going to play what is generally looked upon as a lesser opponent, then go play them on the road because
Hmm.
that evens things up somewhat. Not on a so-called neutral facility, but on the road at the other team's facility. I think it makes it a little harder, and it certainly makes it more interesting
But
to
Texas
me.
A&M was playing at home, weren't they?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
were
Texas
playing at
Yeah,
home.
they
A&M
were actually
was.
playing at home.
Yeah.
Texas
Yes,
and Alabama were playing.
Yeah.
yes.
Alabama went
Yeah,
into Texas
Texas.
and,
That's
yeah,
and
true.
won. But hey, you
yeah.
know what? The kicker from Texas' last name was Auburn. He put them up with a few seconds left. His
Did he
last name
really?
was Auburn. He had across his jersey and he kicked the ball, and Texas was up 19-17. And it
Right.
was so funny. And everybody was texting me saying, hey, you knew he was going to hit it. He was going to kick that kick name with his last name being Auburn and stuff. So,
Well,
And the
Alabama,
coach at Nebraska he was fired,
he's
wasn't he?
fired. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
yeah,
gone.
after
because
2 games.
Georgia Southern beat Nebraska.
Nebraska. Yes.
What
Now
is
that
wrong
was
with Nebraska? You remember Nebraska was
it used to be a
always a top
powerhouse.
5 team in the country.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
know,
yes,
Yeah, but the
yes.
coach didn't lose anything. I think he got a $15 million payout.
did he
Yeah,
really?
Yes.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
one of the things I think, if you go back to uh, integration of college football, Nebraska was great when they were getting a lot of the black kids from the South,
Mm-hmm.
kids that couldn't go play at Auburn, Alabama, Florida, and
Right.
other schools, and Nebraska would take them.
Yes.
And that's just that has changed. And I thought Scott Frost would do better than he did, but it's tough, man.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
tough.
yeah. And I feel
Hello.
Michael froze up again.
Yeah, he did.
There
you
he
know
is.
to
There he
Marshall,
is.
to Marshall at home.
What
You
was that,
you
Michael? You
yeah,
broke up.
you
I,
froze up, Michael.
yeah, Marshall went into Notre Dame and beat Notre Dame. So
Yes.
Marcus Freeman is now 0-3 as a head coach.
That ain't gonna help him none.
Not at all.
No, no.
Mm.
Mm.
You got anything else from you guys?
Well, I don't know if you saw the Emmys last night, Tom and Michael. I didn't watch it all of it, but I did see Cheryl Lee Raff's acceptance speech. She won Best Supporting Actress, and her acceptance speech was phenomenal. She was unbelievable. Yeah.
I
So
didn't see it. What did she win it for, and what did she say?
Best Supporting Actress in a comedy series. Abbott Elementary, I think is the
Oh yeah,
show that
yes,
she plays in. And
yes.
you'll have to watch it because she sings part of the speech, and so I wouldn't do it justice by trying to repeat it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah. She did a great job. I saw that
she
on the news
did.
this morning.
Yes,
She has a voice.
she does. I mean, she's been on Broadway, and
Yeah, she's
of
very
course, in the
talented.
movies, she's very talented.
Barbara, you didn't happen to get your copy of Auburn Magazine, did you?
I
The
haven't
Auburn
received
Magazine,
the hard copy, but I did look at it online. I looked
where
at
they
part of it
talked
last night.
about Title IX and they had the pictures of the. I think you should think about, since you were the woman on this panel, you
Mhm.
should think about doing a Title IX show.
Okay,
We'll call it Breakfast with Barbara.
let's do
And
it.
you could do it and
We will
bring
do
some
that.
ladies on and let's talk about Title IX.
Okay, we
I
can do
think that
that.
would be a good show if I think neither Michael nor I would object, and you and Sean and Emily and Joyce and whomever else can have a good time.
We'll do that. We'll pick a date and we'll work on that.
Okay. Anything else? All right. Well, let's move on. Let's go to
Got a minute.
Sean and
Got a
got a
minute.
minute. Sean, where are you?
Good morning. My name is Sean Jones, and this has Got a Minute. Hello and happy Tuesday to everyone joining in with us this morning. I hope you all are well and in great spirits as we reach the halfway point of the month. It's Tuesday, September 13th, and on this day, the Israel-Palestine Peace Accord was signed. After decades of bloody animosity, representatives of Israel and Palestine meet on the South Lawn of the White House and sign a framework for peace. The Declaration of Principles was the first agreement between the Israelis and the Palestinians towards ending their conflict and sharing the Holy Land between the River Jordan and the Mediterranean Sea that they both claim as their homeland. Thank you all for joining in. My name is Sean Jones, and this has Got a Minute.
Thank you, Sean. Okay, well, Hollywood has the A list, and here on Tuesdays with Thom, we have the G list. Our G list guest today is Hina Nauman. Hope I pronounced that right. And it's evening where Hina is, which is Pakistan. So good evening, Hina. How are you? Are you there?
Hello, thank you, Thom. Yeah, good morning to you. It's good evening over here, and good morning to you guys.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank, thank you for having me on this wonderful show.
Okay. I tell you what, before I start asking you any questions, you got anything you just want to volunteer off right off the top?
Um, well, I think I'll go with the show. Talk with you
Okay.
guys.
Okay. No.
I can just voluntarily show the book cover, which I have. This is the book
Okay.
cover.
Oh, cool. So we start out with how naughty can one child be? Hina is a child book
Yeah.
writer. Did you ever put lizards in the food to end some boring adult party? I don't think I was able to get away with that. Did you ever wear a secret ink ring to mess with kids who annoy you? Imagine a kid like this. And then imagine a kid like this makes her naughtiness double with a perfect addition of a best friend forever in her life. Tell us about your book.
Well, my book is a funny nature related e-series, and it's a middle grade series, and it aims to connect children with the nature around them, because I feel that nature is the best emotional healing. Because at the age of 7 till 12, children starts having feelings. They start having the depression, anxiety, love feelings in themselves, and this is the best time we should tell children how to deal with these feelings in their life, and when they grow up they won't become immature adults, and the best emotional healer for any part in our lives is the nature. So we should always tell children how to stay connected with the nature, and this is the part of the life when they should know how to connect with the nature. Take these things as signal. If you are having a little depression in your life, why not take this as a signal to connect with the nature? Why not go out to the parks, look at the birds, take a break for a month for gardening, like this. Slowly have a change of vision in your life. Taking the things, looking at the things from a very different angle. This is how the motive of my series, to tell the children how to connect with the nature and to accept everyone in the world, and especially their own selves and their feelings.
So you have children of your own? You have
Yeah.
children?
Yeah, I have three.
Did you model this book after them?
Yeah, yeah, it's a funny book because I believe that whatever you write for children, it should be humorous because they should love their childhood. Childhood is the best part of the life. It should be memorable, it should be lovable, so it should be funny for whatever you write for children, that whenever they remember their childhood they would say, oh, we read Hannah the Guardian of Nature and it was so much fun reading that book in our childhood. So that is why I believe that it should be funny. And when I was writing it in a naughty way, I discussed it with my son also, and he would say, "No, Mama, I think it should be changed. If it would be like this, I would laugh more loud, and I would laugh with my tummy hurting. I would say, my tummy is hurting. It's laughing so hard with this." So this is how I put up with this naughtiness in my books, in my writings.
Okay, sounds good. Well, let's go with Barbara and see what Barbara has to ask you.
Hi, Hina. And you say you're the
Hello.
mother. You're the mother of three naughty little children. Now, what are their
Yeah,
ages? What are their
my
ages?
yeah, my elder one is 6 year old, and the middle one is four, and the youngest one is 2.5.
Wow, wow. So you did pattern the book after them, and because that's your inspiration. That's great. Now, when did you first
uh,
decide it? I know you have a degree in marketing. So when did you decide
yeah.
that you wanted to be a writer, an author?
Well, it comes in two phases in my life. There was firstly a question in my life. I always asked myself, we are always told that there's a reflection of God in everything we see. Then I wanted to see that what could be the purest form of love we can find in this world. Where can we find this reflection of God love in this world? I never find it anywhere in the world because parents can be narcissistic. You can find friends. They could cheat you. You can have anything. That could not be good. But when I become a mother, I start interacting with more children in my life. I realize that this love of God lies in the hearts and eyes of the children. When you look into the eyes of a children, no matter who that children is in the world, who that child is in the world, and who, no matter who you are, what, from which economical social background you belong, what people say about you, who you are, but the child always smiles back to you, and with the same smile and love in his eyes, in the same way, like you smile for that child. And that is very similar for what we are always taught all around the world, that when you smile at God, God smiles back to you. And this is what I see in the eyes and hearts of the children. So I love when I realized this thing, I wanted to write for these naughty little hearts and to enjoy this love of God in our lives. I wanted to tell people that we should always appreciate children in our life. If we are parents, we should appreciate our children in our life. If we don't have kids, it's okay. We can go out in the park, meet children, smile at them, and have fun with it. We can always appreciate this love of God in this world. It's always present there for us.
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
that's great.
And the second phase, if you ask me how I inspired it for this book
Yes,
specifically, I'm a very positive person in my life, and my life to remain positive in my life took me to this decision that I should write something for the kids, for in which they should also learn how to remain positive in their lives, always taking these signs, always connecting with the nature. And this happened in my life because I am always connected with the nature around me. Whenever I feel a little depressed or having a bit of anxiety in my life, I take this as a signal. Why not connect with the nature? Take this thing as a signal to connect with the core of my own self. And you can always connect. You start connecting with your own self and you connect with the nature around you. You take a break from the world outside. You take a month of gardening. You go out to the park. You take time for your own self. That is not only connecting with the nature, but it's also connecting with your own core self. You're healing your own self. So we should always tell our children that connecting with the nature is very important, and God made us the guardians of nature. This is not even a small thing. We need if nature need us, we need nature also for to remain always positive in life. So
yes,
this is why I took the inspiration of writing this story, and I told you why it's funny, because I believe everything you write for children should always be funny and humorous. They should love their childhood always. We
that's
should
true.
encourage this love in our life. That's right.
That's
We
true.
have several regulars who are on, and they're saying good morning to you.
Oh,
And then
hello.
Joyce says, I love the concept of encouraging children to connect with nature. So
Thank you.
they agree with you. So who was up? Was it Barbara? Barbara, Michael. Uh,
Michael.
Yes.
Michael.
Well, good morning, Hannah. I want to say thank you
Thank
for
you.
joining us. And I
Thank
love the
you.
way you found us, that you were listening and viewing us over in India to be on
No,
the
I'm from
show
Pakistan.
from Pakistan. That's just great.
Yeah.
So that tells you we're reaching out and we're going across the pond, as they say, or across the different
Yeah.
continents. So thank you.
Yeah.
I want to ask you. I saw.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
Okay.
he's frozen again.
it's
Okay.
frozen. There it
Can you
is.
hear me now?
Yes.
Can you
Yes.
hear me
Yeah,
now?
I can hear you.
Okay, you
Yeah.
said if someone gives you pee to drink, simply give them potty to eat. Where did that come
Yeah, where did that
Well,
come from?
well, if you're it come from an idea that if you're a naughty one, you would always take this thing that I don't take the. I have limits. I have boundaries. No one should cross my boundaries. If you cross my boundaries, you would be one. Come on and careful about it. So I took this idea from this because Hannah is a very lovable child. She knows how to handle herself, tackle herself. This first book is actually telling the children to connect with Hannah, to her lovable character, and then Hannah would face a few things in her life, and then she would realize how they would connect with nature, and this is the thing. So this is the first concept of the book is Hannah is very lovable. Hannah is very naughty. She has she have an attitude, and if you don't admit that attitude, she's going to surely take you with very strong hands, and you're going to get in touch with this. This is how Hannah is.
Okay, that I found that kind of interesting because I have a saying that don't pee on me and tell me it's rain. But I use that from the standpoint of people trying to pull the wool over me. But when I saw this, it kind of took me aback.
Well, when I saw it, I had the same reaction. But I said, I won't ask this because Michael will. Barbara, you got anything else?
Yeah, I saw another quote that said, when I feel sad, I start brushing my teeth. I love to brush my teeth. That's my little secret. Tell us about that.
Well, I think I myself is a little bit naughty also, and I have naughty secrets also for my own self. I always I always like brushing my teeth is like a little secret for me. I always admire white teeth, and just from my childhood, it was like I think my mommy always told me that you should always brush your teeth to have a white and shiny teeth. They look good. So I think that just click into my mind till today. And I always, whenever I feel sad, I think I just brush my teeth and I feel fresh. I think, oh, my face is having such a nice breath. I feel so fresh. That's the feeling that I get, and I have from like brushing my teeth.
Okay.
I want to ask you, have you always had such a vivid imagination, and how did you develop that? I mean, to come up
Yeah.
with all the sayings and to write these children's books, you must have one.
Yeah, yeah, that's a wonderful question, Mike, because I think this is the main question for every author in the world. Because once you start imagining things, you start building stories in your mind. And once you go know how to write in your life, you start writing those stories on papers. And this is how I believe every author could have become in the world, how it was made. Because no story could ever be made without imagination. Why you cannot make a story without a vivid imagination, without very clear imaginations of what you want to tell people about the stuff you want to tell. And imagination counts a lot, I think, for an author and a writer. It counts a lot.
Well, let's tell people where they can find your book.
Oh, they can find it on Amazon. It's available on Amazon right now, and I am thinking to put it on Kobo on Black Friday. But I am a little confused whether I should put it on Black Friday or put it for Christmas on Kobo. But it would be available on Kobo soon also. But right now it's available on Amazon, and it's free for Kindle Unlimited right now. So anyone who's a Kindle subscriber can get it for free. And it's an ebook also. I must tell this also. It's a ebook right now.
Okay, sounds good. And you got other books planned?
Yeah, it's a series. The second book in the series is in the pipeline also, and it's where Hannah is going to have some emotional feelings in her life, because there's a very important phenomena I want to teach children in the world, which I think we are lacking to tell children. That is that we always tell children families matter most, families are very important, this is really nice, this too matters. But at times families does not help you when you go into a traumatic situation. So sadly people face these kind of traumas also in their life, and when they face these kinds of traumas, they get shattered from inside. So we should always tell children that yes, families do matter, families are a very strong bounding, but families are also made up of humans, and humans are meant to make mistake till the last breath of their life. This is why we are humans, otherwise we would be angels if we don't make mistakes in our lives. So if anyone ever did bad from you to you, even your parents, why not forgive them? Why not forgive your parents? Why not take your parents as humans? Why not take your friends as human, your siblings as humans? And after all, you yourself as human. You are also meant to make mistakes in your life. So if anyone ever do bad to you, forgive that thing, because they are humans and humans are meant to make mistakes. And forgiving never means that you are going back into that hurt. It means that you are giving that hurt that holds you for you forgiving that thing. So forgiving is a very important concept. So this is the second part is for this, and the series covers the small parts. If I it may get I might you might say it may get a drag of a path, but I have a motive of writing in my life. I believe every person who every today the life we are living was once fought by people who have some ideas in their life. We could be living a life of slavery till now, but there were people who have an idea, who fought for that idea, that no, this isn't right. There were people who accepted diversity in this world, who said diversity should be accepted in this world. So I believe in this idea and concept in my writing, that I should put the idea of self acceptance to the children, and make this world a better place for living for a future generation. And there are always people in the world who are fighting to make this world a better place for living for the future generation. And I have this idea of self acceptance for the children, that they should always self accept themselves as humans. They should connect with the nature always, and take this thing that no matter someone is there in your life or no, you are going to always be there for yourself, and the nature around you is always going to be there for yourself. So always stay positive in life and take everyone as human in your life, your parents, your families, everyone. If anything bad happens to you, take it as humans and forgive them, because they are meant to make mistakes till the last breath of their life. So this is the main concept that I want my life to go for this.
I think you've got some very, very positive things here. You talk about forgiving, you talk about self-acceptance, you talk about staying positive. Those are not only great concepts for children, I think adults could use those as well. They're great concepts.
Thank you.
Barbara, Michael?
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about your degree in marketing. Have you worked in the marketing field in addition to being an author, or you have other jobs as well?
No, I am completely. I have one job, and that is I'm a housewife and a mother of three naughty little kids. And I think, yeah, that is a full-time job right now. But I feel that writing gives my life meaning beyond my existence. Like I said, I want to be one of those peoples in the world who work for the future generation to give this world a better place of living for the coming up generation in this world. And this writing has given my life meaning beyond my existence. And I'm happy with this writing stuff in my life. And I want to use this thing because I believe once I started writing, I started believing that writing is a power. It is more, you can say it's more powerful than weapons or anything. You're shaping the minds of the children, you're shaping the world, the minds of the world, that how we should make this world a positive place to live. And it is very important. First, we should be positive with our own selves. Once we are positive with our own selves, we can make this world a positive place for everyone around us in the world.
I think you're wonderful. So we have a comment in our chat that says, at a time when children are not always prioritized by parents who are more concerned with their own freedom than with parenting, what a wonderful gift you are providing them, Hina.
Thank you. And this is what I want. This is what I actually want, that there are children in the world who have narcissistic parents. They struggle a lot. They don't know how to build up boundaries in their life. So this book tells them that accept everyone. You yourself have to know it's your journey, it's your life, and you always have to accept it and you always have to learn. And life is the best teacher in its own self. So whatever, if you feel, if you ever feel bad, if you ever think life did bad with you, take that as a very hard teacher and learn a lesson from this. Maulana Rumi is a very famous. I inspire him a lot. He's a very famous scholar of self peace. He says your pains, your traumas in life are signals, are messages. Learn from these messages, and once you learn, you'll become a more stronger person in your life. And I believe we should tell our children this thing, that whenever you feel pain in your life, take them as signals and learn from these things in your life and move on in your life. Always keep moving on your life.
So Hanna is the garden of nature, and she's a little bit naughty.
So, not little bit, she's extremely naughty. You read the book and you'll know she's extremely naughty. She's not a little bit naughty. She can make a full disaster of a party.
Let me ask you this. You got 3 little children. Are they naughty?
Yeah, extremely. And I was even naughty when I was a kid, so I don't complain there. I love their naughtiness.
Okay, that's good. Michael, Barbara, you guys got anything else?
Yes, Hina, I want to say, first of all, your positivity is infectious. I wish I could bottle it up and carry it around with me, so when I needed an uplift, I could take a shot of it. So, with the stuff I have to deal with. But I was reading where you say that you're the first in your country to write a nature-related funny book, and that, writing and book reading is not common habit. It's not a common habit in Pakistan. What challenges have you had to face and overcome in getting your book published and being a self-publisher there, just because of the circumstances?
Oh, well, this was the biggest challenge. Book reading isn't a concept in our country. Unfortunately, people in Pakistan is an underdeveloped country, and the main reason, if you analyze this thing, why the country is underdeveloped, because people are not connected with reading of the books. Once they get connected reading with the books, they get into self-development, and once you get into self-development, you get into the development of your nation. So this is a very big trauma which we have to face, which I have to face, and I'm the first one. Children author, we don't have any children author in our country, and this is quite you can say a problematic thing, because you don't have any support, you don't know anyone how to self-publish, you don't know how to write a book. And then if I have to sell a book, I cannot sell it in my country because I know people are not going to buy it because they don't read books. And that is such a painful thing to know. So when I say that I want the positivity in the world, I want this thing. I want myself to be a very good author and a renowned children author from my country, because this would bring a spark in the hearts of the children in my country. They might think if children follow the stars, and when they will see that an author from our country became so famous in the world, they can also achieve this thing. And that is the point I think I would win in my country, because then they would also start reading books. Because once you start reading books, you can become an author. You have to become an author, you have to know what's happening all around the world, and this is how you become an author. And this is the time when I think I will win in my country, when children would imagine me and would take this as an example and say this thing, that okay, we want to become an author also. And that is the point I think that my country would also change also. And with the challenges, for the challenges is the most biggest challenge is I have to sell it all around the world. And this is not even bad for me, because I want this world to be a more better part for the future generation, with more positivity, with more self acceptance. And this book is a new book ever written in kid literature, where the kids all over the world are going to connect with the same international internet hashtags to see what actually the diversity of the world means. That if the book says that if you like, what's your favorite cuisine, and it gives a hashtag. So if a children living in America is going to post a picture of his favorite cuisine, and a child living in Turkey is going to put a post of his favorite cuisine, the children are going to see, like, look, we are both the same in mindset and everything. The cultural differences are always there, but people and humans are always same all around the world. And the children would learn what actually diversity means in this world from quite a younger age. And this is, I also want this book to be, my aim is that I even want to give this book for free to the hospitals of this world, because it's a funny book. I want this thing that where when a child who's struggling in life, he should have a smile in his face before going to bed with a happy smile, because whenever a day in which you have a smile, it makes it a smile makes a day an excellent day. So I want this thing that children all over the world should smile, should have positivity in their lives always, and we should make this world a better place for living for our future generation. And I think once I achieve this, I think there would be a spark in the generation of my country also, and they would also analyze this thing that we want to become an author also.
Right.
So and I agree with Michael. You're so positive. I think you've uplifted all of us this
I know.
morning. We all feel much better. Let me ask, so
Yes.
Hanna, this is a series of books. So what's Hanna's next adventure?
Oh, next adventure. It's in the first book. It's a very cute story. Hannah saves a life of a homeless little bird, and that is how they become best friends forever. And they become a naughty team, and now they are full. They are making disasters everywhere with their naughtiness. And there's a little suspense, but in the next part, the Hannah is going to feel some emotional traumas in her life, and then that is the time when the children would realize how to feel their emotions, how to stay positive in life in the traumatic situations in life. So this is actually the next part is going to cover. I cannot tell the suspense right now because it should be a suspense for the children also.
Okay. We'll have to check back in with you and find out what happens next.
Yeah, you have to wait for the next one.
Okay. Michael, Barbara, you guys got anything else?
I would just like to say thank you for joining us today, Hannah. Again, your positivity has certainly been a blessing to all of us. And as Thom said, it's really uplifted me. So thank you for sharing your joy with us today.
Well,
Thank you for having me on the show. I'm really delighted to come on this show.
I agree with Barbara. I've had this grin on my face ever since we started. It's been great. Michael, your comments.
Well, I certainly want to echo the comments of my colleagues. I also want to say that, I was in a mood this morning when I woke up, what I've got to do. And listening to you, I feel like I can go out and conquer the world. So I'm ready to roll right now.
Yes.
Well, I agree. Like I said, Yeah, I've had this grin on my face now
Yes.
for the
Yeah.
longest. So it's been great. I don't
Awesome.
know. I think we lost Hina
Awesome. Yeah.
for a few minutes here. Uh, and it's nearly time for us to close out. Um, we'll see if maybe she can get back on before we do. Um, but that was wonderful.
Yes, it
Um,
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
just
And I think it was great how she found us, Tom.
Yes,
yeah, exactly,
it is wonderful.
exactly.
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
Pakistan, you
Yeah.
Yes.
know.
And there's probably people all over the world, like I said, watching the show and they never comment, so we don't really know. But yeah, there I think that's so wonderful that she reached out to us and said she was interested in coming on our show because and she shared with us she feels like it's such a wonderful family atmosphere here
Yeah.
among us. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, from the very start, we decided we didn't want to have a lot of confrontation,
Right.
arguing over stuff you can't do anything about.
Hmm.
Uh, we didn't want to be particularly arguing over politics, which is just not a positive thing today.
Right.
And so this is where we wanted to be. There she
Yes.
is.
Yes. She's
There
back.
she is.
Hello.
So, we were just talking about how wonderful you've been as a guest and how you've made us all feel more positive. And we
I'm
thank you
happy
for
for this.
that.
I'm delighted.
Yeah,
Yes,
we thank
you're
you.
welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah. Okay. So Hannah, we'll let you close out. You got any final comments for us?
Final comments, I would say, let's all smile because let's make our day a perfect and an excellent day. Whenever we smile, our day becomes excellent. I believe in this, that every busy day is a perfect day, and when I end my day with a smile, I say, I have made my day an excellent day today. So let's all smile and say, hey, say goodbye to all of us.
Uh, thank you so
And
much.
don't forget to read my book.
We will read your book. We will. We
Absolutely.
promise. And we will tell everybody else. So tell us again the name of it, and it's on Amazon, and you send us the link. So the name of your book is
Born to be Naughty from the series Hanna, the Guardian of Nature.
okay, okay, and it's on Amazon. Born to be
Yes.
Naughty. Okay,
Yeah.
well, thank you so much. We're gonna close out now, but thank you. It was
Thank you so
great.
much.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
really enjoyed it also.
All
Thank you
right.
so much for having me.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Hannah.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So my closing commentary for today, or as I see it, it's football season, and everyone wants in on the game, including moms. Mom's Night has become a tradition at a high school 150 miles southwest of Chicago. Mom's Night includes instructional time with the team's coaching staff and trainer. They gather the moms and they talk about every position and the player's responsibility. The practice allows the moms to walk through the same plays the team runs and explains to the moms the school protocols for injuries, including concussions. Each mom is asked whether she wants to pad up to take one crack at her son. Those who volunteer are given a quick lesson on tackling. It's cathartic for the moms. Now, some of the moms have said when they tackle their son, they tackle him really hard. This is for every dirty sock I had to pick up in your room. This is for every time you talk back to me. The moms, some of them can bring it. Some moms even offer to pay other moms who are really good at tackling to tackle their sons. The coach says the moms say for anyone who has never raised a teenage boy, you do not know how therapeutic this is. And that is how I see it on September 13th in the year 2022. That is our show for today. We want to thank the audience. We appreciate you. Thank Michael and Barbara. Thank our G list guest, Nina, and from Pakistan. And we want to thank our sponsor, Best Girl. We want to thank Emily Hedrick, the communicator. Thank Sean Jones, the organizer. Let me go back and say thank Hina Nauman, our G-list guest. Remember to enjoy yourself. Make every day count. Keep a smile on your face like Hina has put on our faces this morning. It's been great. She's our first international guest, and based on how wonderful she was, she won't be our last. Remember to enjoy yourself. Make every day count. Stay safe. Peace.